Hello. So let's talk variables. We created a variable here, and as I mentioned in the last video, a variable is just a bucket that we can store something in. So one of the neat things, or crazy things maybe, about Python is that we can actually assign different values to our bucket and override what's in our bucket. It sort of throws out whatever was in our bucket and creates something new. And what's cool is that the new thing does not need to be the same as the old thing. So if I say now message equals 100 and then print message, we're going to throw out this value. It's going to no longer be assigned to message, and instead message is going to be the number 100. So watch what happens. We're now the number 100, and we could do math on this. So we'll see math in a little bit, but we could like add to it. It's an actual number. It's not the string 100. That would require it to have quotation marks around it. It's actually the number, or in this case, integer 100. So we can have lots of these variables. Let's create a box. So we're going to have box width and box height, and we're going to calculate the area of a box. So the box width will be 10, the box height will be 5, and we can print out then some information, and then we'll do a quick arithmetic that lets the math work correctly. So we could say the box has width of, and we're going to do a cute trick here with print that we're going to allow us to attach in the actual width, and we'll also print the box has height of, and we'll attach in the box height. Sorry about the semicolon there. Bad habits. So when we run this, look at that. It says the box is a width of 10 and a height of 5. So there's two things that happened here. One, we saw a new way to use print. We can actually assign two values to a print by separating them with a comma. So separating by a comma in a print allows you to attach either multiple variables together or multiple strings together, or a mix of variables and strings like I did here. So I have the string, the box has a width of, or string literal as you might hear me call it, and the variable box width. So this is just going to be replaced with the value, and since we used a comma, it's actually going to attach it and give us a space. Woo! There's some defaulting happening there. In fact, the print command, if we don't tell it anything else, will default to put a space between each one of these arguments. There's no reason we couldn't keep adding more stuff here. Let's add, for example, message again. The original, watch this, oops, I need a space there. The original message was message. And we can now do this, and you see we have 4 things now in that print. Let's see what happens. Well, look, it just separated each of the 4 things with a space. So we created 2 variables, we've reassigned variables, and we've been able to print where we can print messages out one after the other. So let's end this by doing one last thing. Let's do some arithmetic. The area of the box is box width times box height. And the star here is the equivalent. Sometimes you'll see it as an X when you're doing your math. The star is the way we write that in programming. And it generally is living above the 8 key on most keyboards. So let's run this now and see what it looks like. It did the math. So this is one more way that we have to be aware of when we're doing our functions, like the print function, is that we can actually do calculations, and there's a lot that happened here. This had to replace box width with 10, box height with 5, and then multiply them, and then pass that into the print. So there was a lot of stuff that happened there, but the end result is it calculates whatever the value for width times the value for height, and it's going to put a space between the word is and that, and it's going to print it out. So at the end of the day, we have everything printed out here. We've got some variables that are created. we can see that we can reassign variables, and gosh, there's a lot going on there. So this is a good time to practice some of this yourself. Create some variables, print out some messages, and don't be afraid to do your arithmetic. You've got your standard multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. All use the standard symbols. Remember, the division symbol is the /, and the multiplication is the star. Otherwise, you also have addition and subtraction with plus and minus.